Hello, Accelerated Math 7-8 students. We are working in Module 12, and this is going to be Lesson 5. And Module 12, Lesson 5 is called Sequences of Rigid Motions. Sequences of rigid motions. Okay, and you're going to put that on whatever page you have in your comp book. And I have it right here, so I'm going to open this up for you. Okay, sequences of rigid motions. Our goal for today. Today we will practice describing the sequence of rigid motions that map one figure onto another. So today is a vocabulary using day. You're going to describe in words exactly what happened when you made a transformation. Okay? The question that I want you to think about is, when does order matter in a sequence of rigid motions? Okay? The only way that you can answer that question is by trying some. Okay? And I think in yesterday's notes you were able to see how order does matter, because if you don't follow the vector in the direction that it's telling you to in the order to go, your stuff won't map back to each other. So here's the ones that we're going to try. This picture is what you're going to be working with, all right? And it says down here what you're supposed to do. Hold on, let me see if that pop up. I know what it says underneath it, but for some reason, whenever I have equations, it doesn't like to show it. So, okay, I'm just going to tell you what it says. Okay, so step one, it says translate along the vector. So if we look at this picture right here, we can see that our vector is right here, and it has a little V next to it showing you, do you see that little V? That means vector. So this is the vector that they're talking about, okay? So it says translate translate the shape. The shape that they're talking about is this E right here. So it's this oval, okay? So you're going to translate oval E or figure E along the vector. Then it says rotate oval E around center point -1, 1. So -1, 1 happens to be right there. It labeled it for you. So you're going to translate it along the vector. Oops. Then you're going to go to right here and rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, rotate it 90 degrees. And for some reason this keeps, there we go. Back it up a little bit so you don't have to move it as much. I don't know why it's so far down there. Makes it really hard to see. Okay, that helps. Okay, so here's our picture and here's our steps. Sorry. So translate it along the vector, rotate it 90 degrees. That's what the equation symbol is supposed to be. 90 degrees around the center point, -1, 1, and then reflect it across the line. And it says, show your primes on the coordinate plane above in a different color, and then we're going to change the order. Okay, so let me get it drawn really quickly so that we can practice this. So we have coordinate plane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not going to be drawn to scale. Please don't get upset about that. Okay, so I have an oval that is sitting, we're going to call this 0 right here, and the oval is sitting at a half and 2. So a half and 2 is right here, and a half, or 1 1/2 and 2, and then we have it in the half here and in the half here. So here's my oval, and we're calling it E. And I am supposed to translate it first from here to here. Oh, not to 2. Sorry. Gotta get the picture right. Sorry. Okay, let me try this again. From here to here. Because this is supposed to stop at -1, 1, which that's -1, 1. So there's the vector, okay? And then after I do that, I'm supposed to rotate it 90 degrees, and then I'm supposed to take it across the line of reflection, which happens to be at -3, up 1 over 1, -2, up 1 over 1, -1, up 1 over 1 here, and then up 1 over 1. So I'm going to put the line in there so that you guys can see it. here's my line of reflection that I'm putting in. And luckily for you, you guys don't have to draw all this because I made copies of it for you. Okay, so let's try it. It says translate it along the vector. So here's my transparency. So I'm going to copy my oval, right? Here's my vector. And I'm going to put a top right there because that's where my rotation is. Okay, so ready? I'm going to translate it. So that's first. The first step says to translate. So I'm moving it along here. And now my oval is sitting right there. So let me trace it really quickly. So there's my oval E. Okay. And now it says that I'm supposed to rotate it 90 degrees around the center point, -1, 1. So to the left 1 and up 1, which happens to be here. So now I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. You ready for this? Here we go. 90 degrees. So, boop, there's 90 degrees. So that's where my new spot is for my oval. So I'll draw it right here. Okay, this happens to be E prime, so this one is going to be E prime prime. Okay, so I did that. Pretty close. And then last it says reflect across line L. So let me draw the reflection line right here. So I'm going to reflect it. So ready, pick it up, reflect it over, and boom, that's where it ends up. So let's look at drawing this one. And this would be E prime prime. Okay? So look at how much it changed in those three different transformations. Remember, this is the pre-image, image prime, image prime prime, image prime prime. Okay? Now, what your job is we're supposed to put them in a different order so that we can try to get back to where we are. So first things first, without even doing it, let's try to go in the order that we just did. So to undo it, I would say let's reflect first. So we reflect, and we end up back here. I would say rotate around 90 degrees around there, which puts me here. And then I have to take my little vector and go back, and boom, we're right back to where we started. Okay, that's going in the order in reverse. Now, what happens if we change the order? Because it told us to change the order. So let's go back to where we were, which was here. I'm trying to get back home. What if I did, let's do the 90 degrees first. Okay, so this right here, we know, is -1, 1. So I put my finger on it. Now I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Well, if I rotate it 90 degrees, I end up there. Yikes. Okay, do you see the difference in what happened already? So here's the new position because that was 90 degrees. So I'm going to trace it in a different color so you can see it. So that's doing the rotation first. Now that I have that there, I have to try to reflect it. So let's draw a new line of reflection. So I'm going to do a new line of reflection, which would put me here, right? Okay, so draw that. This is kind of fun because you're like, okay, it's almost like where's Waldo, but it's going to be where's the oval. So there's that, and now I have to go where I was along my vector back to home. So there's my vector, and I'm going to try to go along it. And so this is where my new oval E is supposed to be back home. And the question is this home? And as you can see, it is not home, is it? All right, so the whole point of this lesson today, so that you all can know, is the question that we asked is, when does order matter in a sequence of rigid motions? The answer to that question is always. It always matters, because if you don't follow the order and go in exactly the reverse direction, are you going to get back home? And the answer to that is no, you're not, because you're going to end up, like we've proven right here, in a different spot. So to get us out there, what do we do first? We translated, right? Then we rotated. right? And then third, we reflected. That's how we did it originally, okay? But on the return trip, what did we do? Do you remember? Okay, so we were here. What did we do first? I think the first thing that we did was rotated, right? Second thing we did was reflected. And the third thing that we did was translated. And because we changed the order of the sequence, did we get home? I'm going to write no home. We failed. Epic fail. Okay? So the moral of this lesson is when you are doing transformations, you must follow the order that they give it to you. Okay? So going back over what we were supposed to do for our goal, today we will practice describing the sequence of rigid motions to map one figure onto the other. We did. We described them right here. Okay? When you're describing, you're actually going to have to say, I translated a long vector, blah, blah, blah. I rotated 90 degrees around center point negative 1, 1, and then I reflected over line of reflection L. That's how you're going to describe it using all the vocabulary, okay? And then we learned with our question that order definitely matters if you're trying to get back home, okay? And that's all I have for you. You're going to practice this. It's really fun. It does get very frustrating, though, but we'll check it out. See you then. Bye.